Have you been scrolling through your feeds lately and felt like something's different? Well, you're not imagining it. Something huge is happening right now. The internet is basically rewiring itself right before our eyes, and that line between the content you watch and the stuff you buy, it's pretty much disappearing. Let's get into what's really going on. It all kicks off with this number, $1 trillion. That's how big the global advertising market is right now. But honestly, the giant pile of money isn't even the most interesting part. What's really fascinating is where all that cash is actually going, because it tells us everything about where the internet is headed. So yeah, the money is huge, but that's not the real story here. We're talking about a fundamental shift in how we live our lives online. You know that old wall that used to separate content, the fun stuff, from commerce, the buying stuff? Well, that wall is completely crumbling down. All right, so let's dig in and start with just the massive scale of this whole thing. This isn't just a little bit of growth here and there. No, what we're seeing is a complete and total digital takeover of the advertising world. Think about it like this. Digital advertising used to be just a piece of the pie. Now, at 72%, it is the pie. It's basically the whole bakery. We're talking over $790 billion. That means all the traditional stuff, TV, print, billboards, they're all just fighting for the crumbs. Now, inside this giant digital world, the power structure we've known for years is being turned completely upside down. The undisputed kings of the internet, they're suddenly looking over their shoulders at some really powerful new players. For what feels like forever, we've talked about the duopoly, right? Google and Meta, they ran the show. But that era is over. We're now living in the age of the triopoly. There's a third massive pillar, and it's called retail media. You know, ads on Amazon, ads on Walmart's site, even on Temu. So how did this happen? How did they get a seat at the big kids' table so fast? Well, they have a secret weapon, first-party data. You see, with all the new privacy changes, it's getting harder to track people across the web. But retailers, they have the ultimate trump card. They know exactly what you buy on their websites. And for an advertiser, that data is pure gold. And this whole power shift is happening right as another massive wave is hitting, the merging of social media and shopping. Your feed isn't just for seeing what your friends are up to anymore. It's quickly becoming the biggest shopping mall in the world. Okay, just look at the speed here. The social commerce market is already worth about $1 trillion today. $1 trillion. But by 2030, analysts say it's going to explode to $8.5 trillion. That's not just growth, that's a complete reinvention of how we buy things. And this quote right here just nails it. It's not about watching a cool video and then deciding to go to a store's website anymore. No, the video is the store. The feed is the checkout line. It's all becoming one single, totally seamless thing. So who's driving all of this? Who's in the driver's seat of this new world? Well, it's not just the giant corporations or the platforms. It's the people. Creators have become the actual human engine behind this entire revolution. The creator economy is not some niche hobby anymore. We're talking about a $200 billion industry this year. But check this out. By 2027, it's on track to more than double, getting close to $500 billion. That is a legit economic force to be reckoned with. And here's the big mental shift you have to make. Brands used to just pay a creator to be a megaphone for their product. That's over. Now, creators are launching their own products, their own brands. They're not just a marketing channel for someone else anymore. They're direct competition. They are the storefront. So with creators becoming their own destinations and shopping happening everywhere, the big platforms are in a tricky spot. They can't be everything to everybody, so they're being forced to specialize, to pick a lane and absolutely own one specific part of your journey. From, ooh, what's that, to add to cart. And the money at stake here is just staggering. Tens of billions in ad revenue for each of these giants. But just look at TikTok's growth rate. I mean, that is just off the charts. Each one of these platforms is now carving out a very specific role in this new food chain. So let's break down exactly what those roles are. Let's start with YouTube. They've really owned that middle part of your buying journey. You know, it's that consideration phase when you're thinking, should I really buy this? You go to YouTube for reviews, for unboxings, for validation. And launching Shorts, that was a genius defensive move to make sure you never have to leave their world. And did that move pay off?
Oh, yeah.
In a huge way.
Look at this. In about a year, Shorts viewership just exploded, going from 70 billion daily views to a projected 200 billion. It's just wild. They basically built a giant moat to protect their super profitable main business.
All right, now TikTok, they've gone a completely different route. They are the undisputed king of the impulse buy. They own the bottom of the funnel, that final moment of conversion where you go from just watching to actually buying. They've mastered turning viral entertainments into instant sales.
And here's exactly how they do it. It's not some separate shopping tab that nobody uses. A massive 58% of their TikTok shop value comes directly from those shoppable videos you're already scrolling through. They baked the Buy Now button right into the DNA of the app itself.
And that brings us to Instagram. They are the masters of the very top of the funnel, awareness, discovery. It is, without a doubt, the world's #1 engine for seeing something new and cool for the very first time. And don't underestimate how vital that is. It's driving over 40% of all of Meta's revenue. Huge. Okay, so we've got this wild new customer journey, right? You might see a product on Instagram, go research it on YouTube, and then get hit with a TikTok that finally makes you buy it. For businesses, this creates a massive headache. How in the world do you know what actually worked?
Well, the answer is a concept called multi-touch attribution. See, the old way was simple, but it was just wrong. It was called last click, and it meant that only the very last ad you clicked before buying got 100% of the credit. That just doesn't make sense anymore. Today, it's all about giving a little piece of the credit to every single step in that messy, winding journey.
And there are a few different ways businesses can slice it up. A linear model is simple. Every touch point gets an equal share. A time decay model gives more points to the ads you saw right before you bought. And a position-based model gives a gold star to the very first ad you saw and the very last one. But really, the main point is you have to look at the entire journey, not just the finish line. So all of this brings us to one final big question for all of us to think about. In this new world where your feed is the mall and the creators you follow are the brands, how does that fundamentally change what you buy? And maybe more importantly, who you decide to trust?